Hello guys and welcome back to The Sims 4. We're working on the interiors of one of our brownstones today. If you haven't seen the exterior build, it's somewhere up on the channel. I think by the time this goes out, it'll probably have gone out like 2 or 3 weeks ago. But there's a part 1 of this, and we're going to be slowly filling these brownstones out. Each one is about 4 stories. I don't know if they're all going to have super unique layouts, but I'm trying to do some different layouts for each one, and I tried to come up with a story for each one. So in this particular build, I was imagining a grandparent, and she's been living here for a while, and then her grandkid, and her grandkid has moved here because there's a good art school or something like that. There's a reason that this little one needed to move to our city here, and grandma was like, yeah, she can come, and it ended up being a really good thing because unbeknownst to everyone, grandma really could use just a little bit of companionship, you know, and a little bit of love and a little bit of help taking care of a 4-story brownstone. Having said that, I kind of did this particular brownstone as though it was a 2-bedroom, 3-story, 1-bath, and then when the grandkid moved in, she was like, but the attic is huge and could be all mine, and kind of started converting it. That was kind of the idea. And there's a few other places where I started kind of messing around with that idea too. Here in the kitchen's kind of bright and pastel-y a little bit, but still dated. I was trying to find a blend there. And the story I was telling was that I was telling the story of a grandma and a granddaughter because I'm very close with my grandma and we would 110% do nonsense like this. I kind of was telling the story of like grandkid moved in and was like, Grandma, you know, your kitchen could use some work. There's like the door handles are falling off and stuff on a couple of them. Can I work on those? And Grandma being like, yeah, I just haven't really had the time or the energy to want to work on them, that kind of thing, you know? And the kiddo being like, no, we got this. We could go crazy. And Grandma just being like all for it because that's the kind of cool thing you can do when your grandkids are around, you know? Kind of like they both have that artistic soul and are just like, why don't we paint them green, you know? Why don't we, you know, there's nothing that says we can't just take a paintbrush to them. Just because they're old and dark now doesn't mean they need to be old and dark. But I also did things like left some of the older appliances in because that would be a little bit more expensive than a couple cans of paint, you know. And I left like the paneling on the walls because, you know, maybe we don't have quite the DIY skill set to deal with that yet because that would be drywall. Or like maybe we're saving up. And then I imagine when you're playing them, you would slowly like make it much brighter and happier in here. I also kind of imagined, and this sounds really sad, but I don't mean it to be, but I also kind of imagined the idea of like, maybe Grandpa passed away not too terribly long ago, and Grandma just hasn't really felt like keeping the place up a lot yet, and then grandkid moves in and is like, nah, this should be a happy home. We're gonna do happy home stuff. And like, just kind of like forces her grandma a little bit to like enjoy her space again, you know? And that way grandkids can do. So I thought that was kind of a cool idea. I tried to add a lot of homey touches. It's very cluttered in here. The kitchen isn't so cluttered, mostly just because everyone in my family is kind of the same way. We're like, our kitchens, if there's a mess, they drive us nuts. And so like, I couldn't imagine even if she was like sad that her kitchen would be to a point where like we were all really annoyed, you know? And it's actually not a bad-sized kitchen. Although looking at it now, I think I maybe forgot to put a sink in. So, oh no, there it is. Never mind. I was like, I don't know if I ever put that sink back. Good. Thank God I remembered to put a sink. Do you know how many times I've had to like go in and fix things that I've forgotten? Oh my goodness. It's amazing what you forget. Well, there was that one build where I forgot a bathroom. Like, not forgot to do the bathroom. Like, forgot to account for a bathroom in the floor plan. Silly. So, like, here I was trying to pick out an older style paneling, and I ended up finding, this is actually, I believe, this is, what is that, Halloween stuff? No, Spooky Stuff Pack, I think, which is a really good, like, kind of grody 70s paneling, and I'm allowed to say that because my house has, like, 70s paneling in it, and I have said since I was a little kid, I hate wood paneling. There's certain kinds of wood paneling that are okay. Shiplap, when done right, is okay. I'm not in love with it, like other people. I'm not like it has to be in every room of my house kind of thing. There are specific circumstances in which shiplap is really pretty. I don't think I'd do it in my room or anything like that. But generally speaking, the like really dark 70s paneling, don't love it. I've grown to love ours in our house, mostly just because I've been threatened if I take it out. But generally it would not be my choice. But it's very expensive to take out because there's not drywall behind it, right? Very rare. Like it's a drywall alternative. Words are hard today. So it'd be very expensive to take out. So there are places in this house where I did paneling, and there are places in this house where I did half paneling, the Sims house I'm talking about now. And then there were places where there's no paneling, like the gal in the attic. You can tell it was just like an unfinished attic, and she started working on it. Which is funny because I've done a different brownstone, and I kind of did a similar but different thing in this set here, where I was like, yeah, this looks like a finished attic space, but it still reads attic. These brownstones are kind of skinny and a little bit interesting to lay out, which was surprising to me. This layout came out okay. I've had a couple other ones where I'm like, I'm not convinced that's smart. I really wish this little console here worked with the TV in it. I get why they didn't do that, because it's supposed to be broken because it's part of the basement clutter kit, but I was like, it'd been really cool if there was like a TV and a console version. But so I went ahead and just put the TV on top, and I thought that's pretty true to life. I've seen that in real life where it's like the older console died, so they just put a new TV on top. And I think it makes sense. And the TV is small because, again, grandma. And then I went ahead and really cluttered the living room because I kind of imagined like her wanting to sit and watch like her soap operas and stuff and having just all of her stuff around because she's lived here by herself for a really long time. She hasn't really needed to worry about anyone else's opinions, you know. So I filled it full of games and books and things like, and I imagine her and grandkid sitting in, like grandkid maybe doing homework or something on the couch and then them playing a game on the table, and grandkid being totally fine with the clutter and stuff and just it feeling very warm and cozy. And I liked how it turned out. It turns out really cluttered looking, but I really like how it ended up turning out. And then I ended up doing kind of the rest of the house a little bit less cluttered. Because that's how I found it tends to be. There's always like parts of the house where you're like, this is just where stuff sits and it just grows. For us, it's our front room. It's just, that's like, because that's where all the deliveries go, like the dog food and stuff. And then everyone's like, I don't want to take a 40-pound bag of dog food down the basement stairs, because nobody does. And so it's like, it just lives there, and then it just kind of becomes a collection point because we don't really use the formal front room. Because I don't really understand. I mean, there was a time and a place where a formal front room made sense, but it don't anymore. And the reason we have a front room, quote unquote, is because my house was built in 1945, and then the back part was added on in the 90s by a previous owner. And so there's like a living room and a family room. There's like the formal front room is the living room, and then there's the family room. And I'm not really sure why they needed both, but the back makes it an open floor plan, and the front is kind of closed off. So I know why they added this particular one. So yeah, information you didn't need to know. But yeah, I don't even include those often in Sims builds unless it really calls for it, because I don't really see the point of a formal front room. But I'm sure there was a time and a place where that was important. But yeah, so I have like books shoved back there, and I have games and things, and I tried to make it look really cozy, and then I fought the battle with the curtains, my nemesis in this game. It was just crazy, and I went with a really bright wallpaper, which was really fun. And then there's a pretty big cut here. Actually, yeah, I was gonna say, I think these might be out of order, but maybe not. We'll see. So a lot of these builds, when they're bigger like this, which this isn't big, because I record in such little snippets, sometimes I'll think it's fine, and then I'll be watching through, and I'm like, dang it. And there was a long period of time where I was like, oh yeah, that all disappeared, which was really unfortunate. There was a long period of time where I was like, I better like re-record the whole voiceover because it's all crooked. And now I'm kind of like, you know what? You guys are under no illusions that I'm like good at this. It's fine. If every once in a while something is out, I try to make them really nice, but every once in a while if something's out of line, I'm like, you know, it's fine. So here's the craft space. And the kind of idea I had behind it was that she had cleaned out this space. Grandma had cleaned out this space because she thought Kiddo was going to use it, which this would have been a really fun but somewhat small kind of Kiddo's room. And Kiddo came in and was like, hey, Grandma, I have an idea. What if I take the attic? And Grandma was like, I mean, I guess that's fine if you and maybe parentals want to put work into it. Because, again, I imagine Kid was staying with Grandma because of, like, school thing, not because of, like, parent death or anything like that. We're not Disney channeling this. But so I was like, yeah, I can imagine her parents being cool with doing the attic because she needs like a study space and stuff. And that would have been a little bit difficult in this room to fit like a study space and a hangout space and a bed and everything in here. It would have been fine. We would have made it work. But So I imagine grandma had cleaned up the space and then gone, okay, I mean, I guess if you want to, stay in the attic, that's totally fine. But then she has this cleaned out room, and so I imagined her said kiddo being like, well, grandma, you craft like absolutely crazy. Why don't we make you a craft room? And grandma being like, maybe. And then this was like the first project they sort of worked on together. And that's why everything's kind of like painted silly. And the wallpaper is still old, but like the baseboards are painted blue. Baseboards? Yeah, we'll roll with it. The wainscoting is what I meant. And like all of the furniture is like, looks a little bit older, but has been painted really recently. And like there's the rocking chair and stuff in here. That's what I was imagining. Is I was imagining like they came through and grandkid was like, this needs to be a happy place, and went like a little bit nuts, but in like the cutest way possible, because I'm imagining grandkid is like 14, 15, somewhere around in there. That's the story in my head. You can make up whatever story you want, but that's the story I have in my head. And so we ended up making it grandma's craft space that grandkid also uses. But grandma's like an accomplished knitter and crocheter. She sews, she makes quilts, she does all kinds of looming and stuff, and like she would be like the lady you fear at the county fair, because she's got such crazy cool stuff. I put those towels in there. I know there's a soap bar, but it doesn't really look like a soap bar. I was kind of trying to pretend it was like scrap fabric. This is one of those where you gotta kind of like trust the imagination just a little bit. And I tried to put a bunch of different stuff around to make it look like, not that it's messy, but that she finally has a place where she can just like leave projects out all the time. She's like, okay, yeah, I can do that. And just starts leaving projects out. And then the windows quit on me, because of course they quit on me. I don't know what that bug is, but it's very annoying. Especially like when everything's done and then you go to take screenshots and you're like, oh, that window's out, I'll just place that window real fast. And then like you go to place that single window, but because you didn't turn move objects on, suddenly the entire house disappears, and you're just like, excuse? Sharing with you all of my frustrations today, as though you don't watch these videos every week and see that I struggle with window placement, or that my clips are out of sync and I don't catch it. Also, just a recording note for the foreseeable future until the weekend, when I can hopefully fix this, but I don't know if it's going to be fixed. If you hear chair squeaking, it is chair squeaking. I had a coworker today ask if my dog was okay, because it's kind of a loud whine. My chair, I think something needs to be tightened, because it's squeaking really bad, like really loudly, kind of like the old chair really used to. And the old chair, all the screws were stripped out of it, which I hope isn't happening with this one. But if you hear what you think is a dog whining, you don't. You hear a chair squeaking. Watson is out in the living room keeping an eye on my pork chops for me. It's gonna be a really yummy dinner tonight. I'm very excited. This is grandma's room. Kept it a little bit more serene, a little bit more clutter free. Tried to make it look like some older furniture that she'd maybe kept over the years and was really proud of. Wanted a vanity because that felt very grandma-esque. Wanted like a cute little we put a cute little dresser in there. This all gets moved around. Yeah, there you go. There, you figured it out. I put it on a little bit of an angle, and then got a cute chair. This honestly looks a decent amount like my grandma's room. She does not have a vanity. Her room is actually quite tiny. I've tried to build her house before, the house she lives in now, because it's very cool. It's like kind of split leveled, and it's like got a lot of really cool like original features and stuff. And it does not translate in The Sims. No, I don't. That house it does not adhere to a grid system. It does not adhere to a grid system at all. And so, I've given up on that house, I think, like 4 times. The other one I've given up on a lot is my childhood home. I also don't understand how that was adhered to a grid system. It wasn't, that's the thing. And there's just, every once in a while you come across floor plans that you just are like, yeah, this is not going to translate to The Sims. But yeah, my grandma's house, it's like you walk, so there's a front door, but it's never worked in the entire time that she's lived there, and I've been aware of it. So there's a couch in front of the front door, and everyone comes through the side door, which is also on the front of the house, but it's very clearly the side door because it's in the carport. Everyone comes through there, and so you walk into the kitchen, and then there's like the family room goes down 3 steps, because that used to be the garage, and then in like the 50s they were like, that's dumb, that should be a living room, so they made it a living room. And then there's like, you go off to the side and it's the formal front room, which we just talked about. And then in the kitchen is the eat-in kitchen. It's like a dining nook, not a dining room. And then you go back and there's 2 bedrooms and a bath, and then there's a secondary bath in the master, but this is the tiniest bath I've ever seen, because I am 5 foot. That's where I stopped growing. God said, that's enough, whack her off at the knees. 5 foot, right? Flat, that's it. And my knees touch the wall when I'm using that restroom. It is the world, and there is a full shower, a full-sized toilet and a full-size sink in there, and like, you know something small when my 5-foot self doesn't fit. Like, when I feel too tall for a space, it's small. Anyways, that would be a really fun house to build, but seriously, that bathroom would be like a tile and a half. I don't know, I got nothing. I got nothing. I think I've tried to build it. I think it got modified. I can't remember if that build ever made it on the channel or not. I know there was a build that got seriously modified that was based on her house. And by the end of it, I was like, this is not her house anymore. Here I'm just doing the walkway a little bit, trying to make it look nice. I just stuck with the same wallpaper as down below, which a little bit sucks just because the boarding goes across weird, the wainscoting. I wish it would be nice if there was like a swatch on each of those where it was like, and here's the wallpaper without that, just because when you want to continue it up into a hallway like that, it kind of gets weird around the stairs and it'd be nice to fix it, but that's super trivial and I'm not like the most mad about it. There's 2 bathrooms in this house. If I was living here though, there would only be 1 bathroom because the bathroom downstairs is creepy and I wouldn't go use it a lot. I'll be honest with you, I would probably forget it exists because I don't like basements as it is, and the bathroom in the basement is creepy. And not by intention, just by it's in the basement and it's creepy. Apologies if you can hear noise. I just bumped the mic a little bit. So this bathroom is all cute. I did it a little bit more antique-y again. I wanted it to look like Grandma really hadn't bothered updating it in a while. And I keep going back and forth as to whether there's like a landlord or like just a property ownership company, or if each of these are owned. And I think the final census in my brain is that some of them are owned, and like slowly there's a company buying up the Brownstones, like they want the whole block. And so like Grandma's isn't going to be owned, a couple others aren't going to be owned, but then there's going to be a couple that kind of match like the idea of like there's a landlord here. That's kind of how I'm thinking about it, which I know would not work in The Sims, but storytelling, it's fine. You can make it work. We all have cheats, it's okay. So I'm kind of imagining Grandma still owns this place, and that's why she can afford to still like be here and stuff, and grandkids coming in, and like they can kind of make all the big changes they want to make and stuff, and it's not such a big deal. And then I'm kind of imagining there's one that's going to be like a little bit cleaner, neater, a little bit maybe more even minimalist, because that one's maybe owned by a landlord, you know, so you're a little more limited what you can do. I don't know yet. I'm still piecing together all of the bits. I have a sticky note with all of the ideas, but there's 6 brownstones and there's like 14 ideas on this sticky note. So we'll see. We'll see what comes to pass. This is the attic space. This is the space where I really wanted it to look like it was like a creepy unfinished space, and then grandkid came in and was like, this is my kingdom, and made it really cute. So we went ahead. I was trying to pick a theme because I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do here. I wanted the railings to be there because I almost wanted it to look like it was full downstairs, but not quite, or just like creepy attic stairs, you know. So I went with the bricks, and I tried to use that light a little bit as inspiration, because my honest inspiration was like Disney kid bedroom. I was trying to figure out how to make it just like super wild and colorful and like kid on an adventure in New York kind of vibes, but still make it functional. And I wanted to create a space because I was imagining it for a child turning into a teen, so I wanted it to be a space that kind of worked. And quite frankly, I imagined a little bit that this kid was going to turn into a young adult and want to stay in the city and just continue to live with her grandma, right? And so I was like, this room needs to be able to translate into each of those spaces as quickly as possible, and without fussing with the layout. Like, I didn't want to make a layout where I was like, I can only have a single bed and then have a young adult in there with only, like, you can do a twin bed for a young adult, that's totally fine, but I'm always like, if I have a job and I'm paying for things, a double bed would be nice. So that was kind of the idea there. And then I just really wanted to make it really bright and cozy. I got really excited about like the idea of the canopy and some of that stuff, and I wanted like a good reading nook and stuff. So that took a little while. I like the idea that both of them are readers too, and maybe that's something they like bonded over a little bit, where it was like they maybe went to the library every Sunday or something like that. I like the idea that these two were close, but like vastly different people, but close, and like they fed off each other really well. That was kind of the idea. So this room goes a little bit crazy, and because it's one of the like biggest rooms in the space too, I definitely went like a little bit crazy in here. So But I really like how it turned out. I feel like it has a pretty good vibe to it. And I wanted her to have like a lot of pictures and things, and a lot of like, I wanted it to look kind of trinkety too. Like she was like, I'm gonna pick up cool stuff in the city and make it work. So like the bean bags don't necessarily match because you couldn't decide, and there's lots of cushions and things around, and I wanted lots of sitting places, and I imagined like a whole group of girlfriends sitting up here all the time having adventures, like, you know, going out and doing, like, I was gonna say the night market, but that's Tomarang. But, you know, like going out and doing like the festivals and stuff, and you could go to Tomarang, I'm not saying you couldn't, but like going and doing all of that fun stuff and just being like teenagers in the city, but then having like this room probably be like their come hang out spot all the time, because, you know, every kid's gonna want to have like a huge space like this that's like, and I'm sure grandma is like probably chill as long as they're not breaking things and stuff. And I tried to give her a little bit of privacy by hanging some curtains and things, and I put up a beam just so it looked like, you know, a little bit more attic-y and stuff. But I wanted her to have some sort of privacy because she really doesn't have a door, which is unfortunate. Looking at this now, I kind of wonder if maybe if it was an attic, it would have had a door. Maybe I'll add one before I put it up on the gallery. We'll see. We'll see, because I've seen a couple of quick things that I need to just like adjust and fix for playability. And there is a computer in the house because the well, I guess it's like I think it's the iPad I put in. But there is one to use. So there's like a TV and there's craft supplies and stuff. So the house is fully like outfitted if you want activities and stuff for them. I struggled, you don't see it in here. I struggled really hard with what I wanted the rug to be, and then I stumbled upon the yellow cow print, and I was like, hit record, I know what we're doing. That cow print rug is so fun. And then I put really wild curtains up because if you're 15 and living in the city, I don't think I use those curtains though because they blocked I was gonna say, I use them some places, but I think I switched curtains elsewhere because I liked the stars. And I wanted to keep the stars. I think I ended up keeping the stars. So I switched curtains. But wouldn't that be such a cozy place to just sit and read? It would be so nice. Just like curl up in a beanbag and read. And because you're on the 4th floor, people are gonna have to like look to pay attention to you. They're not gonna get the full view, and if you just stay out of view of the windows, you're fine too. But like you can curl up and people watch, and really they'd have to be like paying attention to see you. It would be an ideal 15-year-old's room. Like I could see lots of fun happening there. I gave her a guitar and a couple of things to be like active. I was kind of imagining maybe like an art or a music school is what brought her here, but I'll be honest, so I kind of set her up for that. But I mean, you could do anything because you could even switch things out for like some of the programming skills and like logic skills and stuff in here, and have like the really like cool nerd, you know, or something like that. There's lots of options. And then I didn't realize that cherry human cow print until this build, and I'm obsessed. Yeah, see, I gave her the iPad with the extended keyboard. It's not an iPad, it's like a Wabbit tablet, but it's a computer, but it's made to look like a tablet. Yeah, I ended up moving things around because I wanted to use so much of the pastel pop kit. That kit is cute. I got it for Christmas, and that kit is so dang cute. I wanted to use all of it. I was like, this is just gonna be a pastel pop kit. And then I love the Book Nook kit because it was just my dream as a kid. And so I've been sprinkling books anywhere I can put them. Every one of my Sims right now is a reader. Every single one of my Sims right now is a reader. And it will be that way for the foreseeable future, I think. I did put a couple plants in here because I don't know if she's a real plant person or a fake plant person, but I feel like rooms need plants of some description, and I feel like if she's put this much effort into her room, she's probably gonna put plants, you know, in her room. So I ended up doing that as well. Lots of patterns, lots of textures. Tried to keep things layered in a way that made sense, but also like wasn't crazy. Realized I'd never put a dresser in. So I had to put a dresser in all of a sudden, but I think that dresser fits really nicely. So I think it's totally fine. I don't think it looks out of place and it kind of also gave another little layer of like blocking, because again, she doesn't have a door. Again, I might put a door in. Here's the basement. This isn't really filled out a whole ton. I kind of left it looking like basically unfinished. I think, I'm trying to remember now, I may have even left the concrete floors in because I kind of had the idea of like, no, like this is just storage. Like no one's really down here, you know? It's just storage. It's just junk down here. There's maybe some some like flooding and stuff happening. Not like major, but just like water damage. I did put these doohickeys in. My brain has died. What is it? The water heater and the electrical thing, but they're the non-functional ones because I'm planning on putting a unit, like a thing in each unit. That was good English. I'm planning on putting a water heater and a power panel in each unit, but making them non-functional. You can make them functional if you want, but I was like, I don't really want the hassle of it, but I like the idea of each unit because they're big units. They're townhomes. They're not apartments. I was like, each unit kind of needs its own place, you know? And this was me remembering that lighting needed to happen, and not just saucer lighting. And I put a few things here. And yes, I realized the bushes were still creeping in the basement. That's a constant problem. And then realized that I also hadn't knocked this wall. So that's the thing is I put these windows in two in each unit because I think it'd be really cool to have like an office or a study nook or something down here. I wanted this space to be usable in other units, but down here I kind of just wanted it to look like, this is the basement, and they never bothered with it. I did put flooring in, which is an interesting choice. I'm glad I did, to be honest with you, because like with the walls you would want it. I'll be honest with you, I don't know if anything out here is usable. I packed stuff in. You may have to pick and choose, but I thought it looked cute because I imagined the yard being pretty packed in overall. But you may have to move things because I think this is what's probably going to be the thing that like makes it not super usable. And here I struggled for a really long time to get its even place right, but I think that might be blocking things. And I put a gate in so you could actually get out from there, but I don't know if it's functional, I'll be honest with you. I didn't think about testing the backyard. So anyways, I've been talking at you for forever. Here's the screenshots. I really like how this turned out. I feel like the vibe is right. I feel like we nailed the story. Would it make sense if I was not here explaining it to you? I don't know. I feel like maybe you could probably figure out the story just from finding it like on the gallery. So I think we did our jobs here. I think we did good, guys. But I'm gonna go ahead and go and let you just watch the screenshots and listen to the music. I hope you're having a great day and you're feeling loved. And if you're not feeling loved, please know that I love you. I'm glad you exist. I'm glad you're hanging out. You make the world a better place just by being you. And I will see you probably next for Minecraft if the schedule's still holding. And yeah. Okay, love you guys. Bye. Mwah.